they had abandoned the church. I mean, they were done. They didn't want anything to do with it. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so, just having those conversations. And I wasn't in Indiana at that point in time. I was up in Michigan. And just connecting with those guys and having those conversations and asking those questions. And, for all of my love-hate relationship with social media, that's kind of how it happened. Some of those things started bubbling up and doing that. So, and just realizing that they didn't feel like they belonged in church. That wasn't where they felt they belonged, and they didn't necessarily feel like they were welcomed. It didn't feel like they were really a part of what was happening there. And so that to me was kind of a wake up call. There is no connection to how to transition out of boyhood to manhood, how to take those responsibilities, how to actually live up to those things. And what's crazy is that there's a whole bunch of other transitions of phases in life that come after that, right? There's husbandhood and fatherhood and grandfatherhood and all these different things. But if you can never make that transition from boyhood to manhood and begin to take those responsibilities, you're never going to be able to succeed in the others. And I think that's why we see so many issues in marriages. We see so many issues in our society and culture and jobs and all those different things. So that, I think, is really the at the core of a lot of this stuff, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. No. And I think that's so important because, as you were having this conversation, I was like, oh my gosh, like if he asks me, what's my answer? Like, what's my answer to that? Right. And honestly, I could say, this is sad. I literally just had this conversation with somebody when I turned 50. You just don't want that.
You'll either humble yourself or be one of the two, and it's a whole lot easier to do it yourself.
Exactly. And he wants what's best for you, and it's not what you might think it is. And you have to surrender to what he wants for you. And the best analogy, and Rachel and I were just talking about this the other day, was that father analogy, right? So as a father, we want what's best for our kids, and sometimes the word is no. Sometimes that is the best. And they'll throw a fit and go cry, just like all of us will. But you know what? When you get past it and it's 20 years later, you didn't need 15 things of cake at dinner time. So the answer was no.
Right.